Hello everybody, welcome. I'm Kirsten and this channel is all about how I experience the world as an autistic person. And today I'm going to talk about things you can do when you're visiting Johannesburg, South Africa, which is where I was born and spent a large part of my childhood and teenage years. Most people would agree that South Africa is a stunningly beautiful country with a lot to offer, but Johannesburg, or Joburg as the locals call it, is not exactly a tourist hub. Visitors to South Africa tend to gravitate to the game reserves, the mountainous areas like the Drakensberg, and the coastal areas like Cape Town and Knysna. Most people don't spend time in Joburg unless they're visiting loved ones or just passing through. But there are some gems in Johannesburg. There are some things to do that are a lot of fun for people of all ages. Now, everything on this list, in fact, everything on this channel, is stuff that I have experienced personally. I did not do most of these things while I was living there, but I've discovered them during my visits back home. Getting right into it. Number one, go for a walk by a river or lake. South Africa unfortunately has a reputation for being unsafe, and this reputation is justified. You cannot just randomly go for a walk in an area you're not familiar with. That probably applies worldwide. That being said, there are some lovely places that are safe. Emmarantsha Dam, for instance, is a great place to go for a walk, have a picnic, even go windsurfing or canoeing. When I visit Joburg, I love to go walking along the river in the area where I stay. It is maintained, the grass and reeds are kept in check by river maintenance crews, but at the same time the natural habitat is preserved for the bird life there. If you're into running, the Bryanston Park Run is held there on Saturday mornings, one of the most scenic runs you'll ever do. Number two, take a day and visit the Johannesburg Zoo. There's plenty to see there. There are 320 species of animals, and the zoo runs a bunch of educational and conservation projects. The walkways are wide, it's accessible to people using strollers and mobility devices like wheelchairs, and there are some play areas and rides for the kids. There's also a restaurant with decent food and reasonable prices, and there are plenty of places to buy a beverage or an ice cream on a hot day. Third, another great option for a day out is Reef City, which was built on an old gold mine. They've gone all out on the mining theme. I went there as a kid. I'm pretty sure it was a school field trip. And back then it was just a replica of an old mining village. You know, so you'd walk around and get a historical feel for Joburg's mining heritage. And you could also go down a mine shaft and learn what that part of it was like. Today, Reef City is so much bigger and it has a ton of stuff to do. You can still go down the mine shaft, but there's also a full-on amusement park, a trampoline center, and a bunch of restaurants and concession stands. I believe there is still a mining village replica, but I didn't see it last time I was there. There is a tiered pricing structure where the higher price gives you unlimited access to the rides. Number four, take a weekend and go to Tonglen Retreat. Tonglen is not strictly in Johannesburg. In fact, it's not even in the same province, but it's about a 3.5-hour drive away. Tonglen Retreat is on top of a mountain. There's no road going up the mountain. It's more like a set of tire tracks that you follow. If you don't have a 4x4, you have to leave your car at the bottom. There is a secure place for you to park it, and you will be driven to the top in a Land Rover. And when you get to the top, it's absolutely stunning. There are places to hike, there is a labyrinth, there is an outdoor fire pit, and even some hammocks for you to relax in. There's no electricity there, so it's a great place if you want to go to disconnect for a while. There is a building called the Dharma Center where you can gather with a group of people to chat, play board games, or just hang out. There is a generator that can be turned on when you want it, but it only powers the Dharma Center. Whenever I've been there, the generator has been turned on for about an hour a day just to allow people to recharge devices. But you don't go to a place like Tonglen for the electricity. You go because it's just stunning. The views are incredible. Number five, go to the Cradle of Humankind. If you are interested in human anthropology, natural history, that kind of stuff, this place is a gem. A lot of our evolutionary history started in Africa, much of it in the Cradle of Humankind. This region has the world's largest concentration of ancestral remains. It comprises the Sterkfontein Caves and the Marapeng Visitor Center. The tour of the caves includes fascinating information about the caves' origins and their role in the lives of our predecessors. Please do not go into the caves if you have limited mobility or claustrophobia. There are bits where you have to kind of crawl through small spaces. The Marapeng Visitor Center is a lot grander than it sounds. It's a comprehensive exhibition of natural history that tells the story of how life began, how it evolved, and where we are today. It's a wonderful interactive experience. Unlike the Sterkfontein Caves, Marapeng is accessible to people with disabilities although there may be a couple of exhibits that you could find challenging. When I went to the Cradle of Humankind, it took a full day. I believe we started at Marapang, then had a picnic lunch before going into the caves. So definitely give yourself a full day for this one. Number 6, this one is not far from the Cradle of Humankind, so you could book a place to stay and go the next day. Go to the Bothongo, Rhino and Lion Nature Reserve. One of the things that makes South Africa stand out as a tourist destination is the wealth of opportunities to see wildlife in a natural setting. Bothongo is a privately owned game reserve that, in spite of its name, does not only have rhino and lion. You will see cheetah, leopards, jaguars, hippos, wildebeest, giraffe, and tons more. You can see all of these animals either by booking a safari drive or by driving around in your own car. There are some places where you can safely get out of your car and stretch your legs. There's a restaurant and play area, and you can get out of your car for a great view of the vultures. There's also a restaurant where prior to the pandemic you could feed the giraffes. I'm hoping that they will bring back the giraffe feeding. And finally, go on the Magaliesberg cable car. I had no idea this was a thing until my cousin took me there as a 50th birthday outing just before the pandemic. It's located near Hartbeespoort Dam, which is an outing in and of itself, but you could go to both places on the same day. The cableway has a number of cable cars. They each seat 4 people and they're fully enclosed. You get gorgeous views during the ride up the mountain, and then when you get to the top, there are walking paths that gives you views in all directions. There are some picnic tables and a concession stand, and also a restaurant that looks out over the mountain and has decent food. Something I really loved was the beanbag chairs on the mountain. A super cool spot to relax. And that is my list of things to do in Johannesburg. I'll put links to all of these activities in the description. If you live in Joburg or if you've been there, let me know what you would add to this list. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next video.